Hi! It's us. We're here for day 4 of Eliminations with the Checkmate tournament, and today we're seeing activators versus You're on Your Own. We're waiting on you, but today my co-commentator is you, so hopefully when he gets here we'll have lots of fun. I'm really excited to see the matchup today. Just because, I mean, these are both really strong teams. So, who knows? I'm really excited to just be here again. So sorry. It's so much harder when it's just you on your own for a little bit, but I'm like trying to open all my stuff. But welcome in, everyone. I know we're slowly filtering everyone in, so I'm just gonna let everyone have their time. But it's always a pleasure seeing everyone in the chat and saying hi. So I'm super excited to see the antics we end up getting into today. Let's see. And then today's starting lineup, for You're on Your Own, we're gonna be seeing Jagi, Sero, Yumi, and Juniper T for our Survivor side. And then we also have High Bronze as our sub-survivor. And I don't know if everyone's keeping an eye out, but we have for Hunter's Day, we have Mushin, and our sub-in hunter is Fafa. Both very high contenders when it comes to hunter side. I mean, You're on Your Own, really great team, really strong. And then for activators, we have Unglad for their survivor side, as well as Chubi and Chi World, and their hunter is Miron. Also another wonderful, very strong hunter. It's always a wonderful sight to be able to see them. And we're in our subs for activators. Our sub for Survivor is Akira Choose or Min, and Mikai's X or Sprinkled Hope for their hunter. I mean, really excited matchup here. And I mean, it's gonna be great. I'm super duper excited. My notes are like all over, but I'm really excited. I know we have a lot of people who were around during NAEU qualifiers for KOA, and I mean, we've all seen how these players play, and like especially Fafa and Mushin. And if you were around for Checkmate last tournament, for the first Checkmate tournament, Miron is extremely strong, especially because they're sculptor main, and they're really keen on like chip characters and just hunters that really are really depending on map pressure. And it does look like we are moving into map bans already. So we are going to be seeing that Arms Factory ban, which I respect entirely. Arms Factory is one of those maps, like it's small, but it's super close quarters, lots of really good places to hide, and just get around. And we are going to be seeing our first map today as Sacred Heart, which is really exciting. I mean, this is one of my favorite maps. I'm also a huge fan of mid-sized maps, so seeing Secret Heart, especially first match, be put into use, I'm really excited about that. Um, I mean, honestly, especially with Sacred Heart, it's definitely one of those maps that you have to take into consideration with survivors and everything. Uh, Especially characters like Priestess and the Toy Merchant. And we're slowly moving into our team selection and our survivor lineup. Um, really, really, really excited. I'm more so just excited because I'm really obsessed with both teams when it comes to tournament play. Uh, it's they're both extremely strong in their own ways, and that's how I feel about every time like I come in here and I like look at all these teams and how they play. Like, they're all really strong in their like each and every way. And it does look like our first ban for the day, Hunter side, is going to be that Seer on your own side. I mean, personally, that's a go-to ban. Seer has always been one of those characters that's like really up in the meta. It's never really faltered. Those owls are always great for a pinch, and I mean, it's really hard, especially when he's one of those characters that if you lose track of, he trails behind you. Um, I'm more so excited to see just like team composition. I know we have a lot of we have quite a few mains, a lot of old meta players coming from the activator side. I highly respect that, especially because old meta is one of those things that you really like. It's constantly changing, but it's always like a nostalgic feeling. And our first lock-ins are the first officer and the antiquarian. Um, very good choices coming from the activator survivor side. I mean, ever since Jose got that really great buff a few seasons ago, he's definitely one of those characters you have to keep an eye out when it comes to rescuing. And antiquarian, even herself, she rose really high up into the meta, especially when you're looking at overseas and Chinese gameplay. It's really nice to see NAEU utilizing her in a really powerful sense, definitely bringing out her full potential here. She has that speed boost, she has the vaulting, the knockback, and the stun, and she's really strong. And it looks like our other two bands here are going to be the female dancer, and I believe, if I can see that right, it's going to be the entomologist. Or no, it's the toy merchant. I'm so sorry. Right? No, it's the entomologist. I cannot see. I'm so sorry, guys. Um Entomologist, another great strong pick coming from You're on Your Own for a ban. Uh, those bees are killer. Plus the honey, when she puts it over the windows and pallets, is really effective when it comes to vault speed. Um, and the dancer, high places, the speed boost coming from dropping down, and the music boxes as well as the slow box are insanely killer. So I'm respectable bands all the way. And our third selection here is the barmaid. I had this conversation with Bones a lot in the past, but I am a huge Barmaid fan. It's really nice seeing her come up in the meta here. She's very effective ever since she got that buff, where she can mix and she doesn't get that huge debuff when it comes to that. Alright. And it's like our last ban. I can't really
Acrobat.
see that.
It's
Acrobat.
the Acrobat apparently.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. Honestly, Acrobat last ban is kind of unexpected, especially with the fact
Mm.
that they only banned the Seer, who's in current day meta. Even though this may be Hospital, if you don't ban Priestess, it's still gonna be a headache, isn't it, for us as...
I was gonna say, yeah, a priestess, allowing that priestess to roam free on Secret Heart of all maps is definitely room for a headache. Especially just because inside that hospital space, she's definitely something you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, and then a Toy Merchant coming out here for our last pick from the Survivors. Toy Merchant wouldn't be too bad, but the only two good catapult places is the one outside Birdcage near the window, and then another one near Birdcage once again, in which there's a cracked walls near the stairs of Birdcage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you do rarely see Toy Merchant coming out though for a map like this. Toy Merchant is much more valuable in maps like Leo's and Chinatown, in which you can immediately go towards the stairs or, you know, up on the bridge in hotel. So Toy Merchant coming out here, if we're really looking for a good rescue or good support, Toy Merchant would only guarantee you the good rescue. Good supports in teams like this is going to be very hard to achieve. But unless Toy Merchant gets some kind of godlike elbow pad or even a rugby ball as her first item to give maybe towards a first officer or towards antiquarian who's going to become first chase, then of course that will work. But overall, Toy Merchant wouldn't be a nice pick. It wouldn't be a niche pick coming out from Activator side right here, unless they have some hidden cards that we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, that's always my favorite thing about watching teams like this, especially teams that are consistently working on their ethics. You never really know what they're up to, and I definitely have to agree. I prefer seeing Toy Merchant more so on Leo's and Chinatown, but I mean, if even in the hospital, when you get the Toy Merchant in there too, she's also just as much of a problem as that priestess.
Yeah, but I would say less effective compared to a priestess. Honestly,
Yes.
if you're not getting the priestess out, it's kind of a. I just feel like you're losing your drafts now after the hunter doesn't ban your priestess. Like banning female dancer entomologist is understandable, but those two bans does come out when you play either Naiad. Well, not Naiad. Entomologist ban is for the Naiad and the sculptor to come out, but female dancer also does counter sculptor as well. Unless from You're on Your Own we're gonna come out with a sculptor first pick, then it would be a whole different story.
For
But it seems
sure.
like it will, yeah, but it's Mu Sing coming out from You're on Your Own.
Yeah, and I mean, knowing Mushin, seeing their track record and everything, I mean, I'm expecting that sculptor play, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we see their geisha, who's also just as strong. And it does look like Mushin is coming out with their geisha. Really good first pick coming from there. Really good getting their first hunter, their strongest hunter out there. Always has been a huge force to be reckoned with here.
Yeah. Overall, with Mushin going against his team comp, okay, now when I think about it again, that activators. I highly doubt that activators doesn't know who Musing is. Cause like if you get a toy merchant out, the toy merchant gets countered by Geisha really darn hard, lol. So getting a toy merchant out, knowing that the hunter is gonna play Geisha, that's not the best choice. That's not the best pick of choice now coming from the survivor side once again. It's a bit questionable for me. Honestly, it is a bit questionable for me.
No, I totally understand. I definitely agree. Toy Merchant is one of those characters that is heavily countered by the geisha, especially with her new kit and the butterflies. It's you. There's no possible way to look behind you, so um, it's very easy for the geisha to catch up.
Mm-hmm. And like it's also with the fact that if Toy Merchant becomes first chase, even if you are inside hospital, then it doesn't really matter for the geisha.
Mhm.
Because like you may be able to jump off, but the moment you jump off, geisha is gonna stay upstairs and watch you fly down. And the moment that you're about to land on the ground, geisha will immediately just throw a butterfly out and then fly towards you.
Right.
So yeah, unless you're in like a really good area where there's still pilots around, then yes, of course, do go for it. But then in general, it's not worth it. In general, it's honestly not worth it to play a toy merchant against a geisha, I mean.
Especially because Toy Merchant's one of those characters where you definitely want to go for distance, and it's just hard to get that, especially with a character like the geisha, whose whole
Hmm.
thing is about closing gaps.
Yeah. And with this type of team comp, honestly, maybe Hospital was picked just to counter Musing's geisha, but with Hospital
Mhm.
in general, we do know that it's looping what matters the most in Hospital. Even if you do decide to bring a geisha out, you can't really loop a geisha that hard in a hospital after all.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup here, especially just because Sacred Heart's one of those maps where it's I feel like more on the equal balance when it comes to gaming and plays
Hmm.
here. But this team composition and Mushin's Geisha is definitely something to keep an eye out on.
Yeah. Overall, with this type of team comp, it seems like we'll be having a triple flywheel coming out from the survivor side, wanting to kite this geisha as much as possible. But even
Mhm.
if you do manage to kite a Musin's geisha, you wouldn't really be able to do as much. I mean, the anti-current is there just for you to harass and to support for decoding time. But if Anti fails harass, then it's going to be a whole different story. And we also need to realize the fact as well, even if Anti does come, what's going to happen is Anti's going to get pushed out. Even if Anti doesn't get pushed out, Anti's going to get hit. After getting hit, Musin just dashes back immediately and picks up the survivor who's on the ground. And of course, with
Right.
mischievous being a thing, yeah, with mischievous being a thing, it's highly unlikely for you to be able to like harass someone down from balloon.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love the standing points that the Antiquarian has, Geisha's just one of those hard characters, especially against her, where she has so much speed and distance on her. It's really competes with that antiquarian.
Yeah, we also saw where the barmaid spawn as well, directly outside birdcage.
Mhm.
If the barmaid wants to rotate into birdcage, I think this Moosing will be landing quite an early hit. Sees where the barmaid is. There's also someone towards middle as well, and the toy merchant's also being near. This does not look good for the survivors at all right now.
No, it looks like the toy merchant here is the first chase. No time to get that catapult down, and
Uh,
oh, beautiful hit coming off of Mushin there. Butterfly
mm,
placement's always spectacular.
yeah, the hit is way the hit came out way too early. It's not
Mhm.
the toy merchant's fault. It's just the
No.
fact that toy merchant gets counted way too hard by a geisha. Another dash right here down immediately.
Mm.
To be fair,
Uh,
there's nothing both us commentators can say. Like against toy geisha against toy merchant, we all know how this is gonna go. We genuinely all know how
mhm.
this is gonna go.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate matchup here. Just because like knowing how both characters and their playstyles are, it's one of those things where it's just really hard to counter each aspect of the geisha as a toy merchant.
Yeah. And it's also with the fact that we can also see now the anti-Korean, no, not the anti-Korean, who's currently forced down? Mickey. Oh, no, the
Mhm.
first officer giving tinnitus here is Grace and Doll. Being able to finish two ciphers here may be enough for the survivors to the crime and maybe try get a tie. But we need to also understand that there's a blink geisha here. So the moment that the geisha lands a normal hit and blinks down immediately, your cipher wouldn't be enough at the end of the day.
Right. And the forcing the tinnitus into the area is effective and really does push for those two ciphers, but unfortunately it leaves this first officer in a position of picking up the next kite if Mushin dares to. But it does look like Mushin is rotating away after the toy merchant has been eliminated, and I believe we're chasing after the barmaid.
Barmaid's trail is being left behind her right now. It seems like her trail to betray herself, but as we can see here, Barmaid being the next chase, it's just a one butterfly blink down by this point. It's not
Mhm.
kiteable for the survivors.
Yeah, especially after the toy merchant getting down like that, we do have to really hope that this barmaid is able to have the anticipation of either the butterfly or the blink coming off of Mushin here.
Another butterfly coming out just to catch up towards the barmaid. It seems like this barmaid did manage to drink a speed up blink here as well, though. Jumping down here immediately should be able to get. No, just blinking out here immediately coming from Mushi may be a better choice, but it doesn't seem like we want to do so. Gets another hit right there. Flywheel coming out. Very beautiful
Beautiful.
flywheel. But it's a fast pallet breaking geisha, so
Right.
she's still dead, yeah.
Unfortunately, it does look like we are going to see that hit, but the barmaid was really effective in getting that drink off. Unfortunately, just not enough time to mix another one just because of the distance and how fast that geisha really breaks that palette. And it's a beautiful blink coming off of Mushin getting that barmaid down here.
I mean, we can also see from Musing's side as well. He's already going towards the first officer's chair. First officer's cipher. First officer not being able to decode right there. Musing will most likely be forcing a rescue right here. Seeing where the first officer is and the first Poseidon watch will be coming out. Should be able to get a normal rescue before half, but once again, there's a huge problem if first officer gets doubled down here by Musing. Now then, getting a hit right there
Oh,
immediately. That's a
beautiful
very good
hit.
rescue. But it seems like we're gonna change targets.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, well, that's a nice sweep. Going
Yeah,
down with the
beautiful
first officer.
anticipation coming off of Mushin here of just exactly where this first officer is going to be. I'm extremely always impressed by Mushin's geisha playstyle, as someone who is a huge fan of geisha. Um, Seeing her utilized to her fullest potential is always super amazing.
Yeah, but as we can see here as well, there may be only one cipher remaining, but there's one full cipher remaining.
Mhm.
It's with the fact that Musing is not gonna chase after this barmaid and this antiquarian. If she doesn't manage to, okay, nice flywheel there, but she needs to disarm here. If
Mhm.
she doesn't disarm, it's over. She needs to disarm here. That's one misses, antiquarian. One misses, and there
No.
goes anti. Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe.
Sure, got a cancel
Good
there on.
rescue, and we got that pocket watch off there.
Ooh, barely got the pallet hit right there though, but it seems like Andy missing a second staff. It's still okay for Musin because we're still near the prime cipher. First officer has to
Mhm.
leave, or else first officer will become the next target immediately from Musin's side. Mm, barmaid. They're all on chair. They're all on chair. They've all been on chair at least once
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, it's really difficult just because you have to anticipate whether or not that first officer is either going to decode here or go for the rescue on the antiquarian. Just because Mushin has the same amount of distance between the cipher and the chair here.
Yeah. Didn't get a hit right there, sadly. The barmaid playing very safe right there, thankfully. But it seems like Musing
Mhm.
has decided to commit to this barmaid. Barmaid not being able to get the pallet stunned there, but it seems like the cipher should be able to get done on time.
Yeah.
There's a blink ready, but Musing not controlling the cipher right there. Seems like we're gonna pop out immediately. The first officer needs to be chased here immediately. Not the anti-current. Anti-current still. If you do decide to chase after anti-current, the gate may be opened. So you're gonna dash over
Mhm.
here immediately, but it seems like anti-current got
Oh,
the staff
beautiful
out.
hit there.
Yeah. No one has touched the gate just yet.
Everyone, it seems like everyone is running towards the front half gate here. But I believe the barmaid is coming in to try and get that rescue off of the antiquarian just in case, unless. And unfortunately, Mushin has probably caught on here and is trailing. in the area for that barmaid who was on the way.
Yeah, but probably should be able to leave this chair by this point, considering the fact that the chair time progress on the Antiquarian is currently at 95%. Sees where the
Mhm.
first officer is. It seems like this may be a guaranteed 5-man elimination, but Musin didn't really get to deny this there from the first officer. Just barely be able to scrap away from the Musin right there from the first officer. It seems like, I don't think Barmaid would have enough time to open that gate though.
No. Unfortunately, just because of the unfortunate pressure that was coming off of this geisha here, no one has actually really touched a gate until now. It looks like the first gate is finally being opened. Hash is in the area.
Wait, Barmaid, just Barmaid got
Whoa.
dungeon. Barmaid got
This is
Barmaid.
Hash. Yep, this is a
Ah,
wonderful tie coming
ah,
off of them.
ah, Musing? Question mark? You know what?
Really great plays. Honestly, I really do think instead of chasing the antiquarian on that first detention hit, we should have trailed after the first officer. Force the antiquarian into the position of opening the gate. That 30% debuff is
Mm,
critical.
yeah. But the problem there is Musing didn't really grasp his opportunities right there, but instead giving the survivors a chance to get a free tie right there is not that much
Mm,
of a great
yeah.
play there done by Musing. Like he had such a great early game as well as we said as well, but the mid to late game in which he decided to give up on the cipher and the chase after barmaid instead was where he messed up the most. And then of course being able to get anti-current down there immediately was really nice for him, but didn't really grasp where the first officer nor where the barmaid was. So being able to give that free dungeon there really would hurt you're on your own quite a bit.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely have to agree there. I mean, the early game for Mission here was phenomenal. I mean, that toy merchant, unfortunately, didn't have enough time to really get any catapults down or to set off on a kite here. But I mean, this is great support coming off of Activator's Survivor team here, especially with the pressure on that cipher. Both ciphers in the area, even if the other one was only at about 20% there,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, pressuring both ciphers just enough to get those rescues off was phenomenal. It's just a little bit unfortunate that Mission trailed the barmaid instead of really sitting on that last cipher.
Yeah, it was a little bit questionable of a play right there, but I guess at the end of the day, we all do make mistakes there as well.
Mhm.
And then onto the point systems we go. It's a type, so it's currently still even between activators and you're on your own. But from activators' side, we have seen them last season as well. From their side, it seems like their hunter who will be coming out will be Mirone. Mirone has given us quite a good impression of his hunter gameplays, whether it's his
Mhm.
sculptor, his wheel, or his Hellember.
Yeah, I mean that Hellenberg match from last tournament was phenomenal. Uh, Mirone is always someone who always impresses me whenever I see him around. So I can't really wait to see what he brings out for this match here, especially when it comes to whatever composition team-wise that you're on your own has to offer for their survivor side.
Yeah. But with Mirone here, if he does want to get the wheel out for hospital, it would be a little bit tough for him to chase after anyone because wheel is very similar to wheel is just wheel gets countered by Arms Factory. So if you can get
Mhm.
countered by Arms Factory, you can also get countered in hospital. Because you do need to consider the fact that everyone can just spawn near long windows. So even if you do want to land a spike, it's not going to be that easy for you in this type of
Right.
map. Yeah, we have the likes of Shack, Ruins, and then you have the long windows near what is that called again? The long windows near where's that place called
Mm.
again? Near statue. There's a
Mm,
mini rooms next to
mhm.
statue, yeah, and then a hospital in general. It's just really hard to land spikes because Wheel does have a small animation when he wants to drop down on towards the bottom floor, some from second floor.
Yeah, and especially just because of how tight the spaces are, tight kiting is one of those things that is unfortunately really effective against the wheel.
Mm-hmm. And alongside with the fact that in our current day meta as well, we did get a new persona in which you're allowed to vault faster, so that also does help the survivors quite a bit when it comes to vaulting
Hmm.
windows and not getting the window spike from the pollen.
Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. It's
Mm.
unfortunate just because it's not a character you see that often, and it looks like our first ban is going to be the priestess. I'm not really shocked. I was kind of more shocked when she didn't get banned, especially that last match, but understanding that Mushin's Geisha is one of those characters
Yeah.
that's just so fast. I mean, that priestess ban, I after that didn't really expect it. It does see like our first two survivors being landed is the female dancer and the seer. Effective play
Yeah.
is really top tier meta characters coming out right now.
Mm-hmm. With the female dancer and the seer coming out as a team comp, seer basically just guarantees you to rotate into hospital, and alongside with the fact that female dancer can throw slow music boxes inside hospital. So it'll most likely be a female dancer spawning in middle and the seer maybe spawning in runes to contain for a little bit longer. But of course from
Mhm.
activator's side we know that Mirren is coming out, so getting the priestess banned first and then next with the antiquarian and probably, if I'm not wrong, a first officer. First officer being banned from Mirren is a
Mhm.
little bit more surprising. It's considering the fact that from JP and CN server we see more mercenary bands instead and first officers coming out. But with these type of bands, it's I guess at the end of the day, it's going to be a sculptor from Mirone's side.
I was gonna say I'm really anticipating that sculptor here, especially because we're not seeing that mercenary ban.
Mm-hmm.
Chip hunters and mercenary don't really don't really mix well for his luck there. Just
Yeah.
because that chip can really make or break that mercenary and his late damage.
Hmm. But it's also with the fact that if we get the first officer out, they basically can predict in which type of hunter you're gonna come out. For the survivors here, they know what's gonna be on their plate, and it's gonna be a
Right.
sculptor who wants to come out, and it's also with the fact that they will be counterplaying with an entomologist here from the survivor side.
Yeah, th- it's really nice. We're going to be seeing that entomologist come into play here, especially on a monthly start. She's very strong. There's lots of areas where she can throw down honey to vault,
Mm-hmm.
and you already get when you build about 369 or anywhere close to 9 here.
Yeah.
That fast vaulting speed already coming from Horsefly, and I mean with the honey on top of it, it's really just one of those things you have to anticipate when it comes to playing Hunter. The vaulting here is going to be much faster.
Mm-hmm. So, as Essa says as well, vaulting being much faster simply just means that Sculptor can't land her chips as fast. There's also the vaulting buff from Knee Jerk Reflex. So,
Mhm.
for a Sculptor to be coming out here, it's either that her statues needs to be timed very well, or she doesn't use the statue at all between windows. Because for survivors here, they all vault fast. With the entomologist being an extra combo right here from the survivor side, they know themselves. Take a hit, rotate. As long as we don't take chips, we have a seer with an owl, we can tank 3 hits, we have an entomologist with a support. Whether it's supporting you to contain longer or supporting you into hospital, hospital is just the best area for entomologist to support in general. And then seer, as long as he does his job, it's going to be a full decoding team right now.
Right. And we are seeing that fourth band come into play. It's gonna be that barmaid. Barmaid's a
Unexpected.
really
Very
interesting
unexpected.
pick, especially if we're predicting a sculptor here, just because
Hmm.
I know Barmaid can still heal through chip damage, but even then, easy easy down with chips anyways. Getting those drinks off if you fumble them, is pretty much in a hunter's hands.
Yeah. But also, it's just bands that confuses me. Because
Mm,
if we're gonna get the barmaid band when you're playing sculptor, then I guess okay, makes sense because you're gonna dodge chips. But if Barmaid gets banned here, does this mean that Mirone is not confident enough in the current day meta with Sculptor coming out? Or is it just the fact that we're gonna play it more safe with a Barmaid ban just so they can just so they can keep up with the Cypher Rush? Because we do know that, of course, from Mirone's side, First Officer has been banned, and then Entomologist was chosen next. Therefore, it just means that there's another chance for you to ban Mercenary, but it seems like we're not going for a full chair camp potential here from
Mm.
Mirone at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see these band choices, especially knowing Mutiny's usual hunter play style. I mean, the first officer and barmaid band here are very,
Mm-hmm.
very confusing, but um, I mean, whatever keeps you're on your own survivors on their toes. I mean, going after some very close picks here that are usually everyone's first choice of character. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really shocked. I could anticipate more bans like this in the future coming from any kind of tournament here.
Yeah. But the problem here is from Yo-Yo side, they definitely did win quite a bit with the
Mhm.
draft picks, because we do see, support, you have support, bees, support, you have support, rush, you have rush, rescue, you have rescue. You may not have harass, but the mini harass from entomologist probably is more than enough against most hunters in general. Maybe not against a BQ, but of course we have a seer outside here just to counter the BQ's mirror as well.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's gonna be a really interesting play here.
Wax artist is going to be highly unlikely for you to be able to do
Mhm.
anything here as well.
Yeah, for sure. Especially just because, unfortunately, on Sacred Heart, there's a lot of closed-in wall spaces, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks like we are going to be seeing our Galatea pick, which we did anticipate, just knowing Mutone. So I'm really, really
Yeah.
excited.
Game one, survivors with their honestly, female dancer spawning in middle, entomologist spawning by shack, and then you can have a seer in runes and
Mhm.
mercy near Birdcage, and that's more than enough of a good spawn selection for Yo-Yo here. But for activators, Mirone, it's gonna be pretty darn hard for him to be able to get anyone down right here, considering the fact that their main priority is to dodge as much chips as possible. But with this type of team comp in which the survivors basically won the drafts, it's gonna be a little bit hard for Sculptor here to gain anything. Even if you have good chips, there's still gonna be a seer out
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all up until up to Yoyo's survivors here. Um I mean, Sculptor, even if she has dropped a little bit in these meta placements, she's always like a really, really formidable choice. Graveyard is also one of those features that comes with her, and she's so strong, especially when it comes to cipher pressure and distance, um,
Hmm.
especially if executed correctly.
Yeah, but we may be seeing a Peepers Gala maybe, but Peepers Gala here wouldn't be the best. I don't.
Mm-mm.
I think if it works once, then it works once. But the survivors won't buy your trick twice. Like fool me once,
Right,
shame on me. Fool me twice. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Honestly.
right. I am fully anticipating either teleport or blink, but more so blink coming off of this Galatea here.
Yeah, it could be either Blink, it could be either Fly, it could be either Peepers. But as long as the moment that Peeper comes out, I think the survivors will just have a can catch their breath, knowing that they don't have to predict flywheels, etc.
Mhm.
etc. from the gala here.
Right. Um,
Mirona is gonna rely a lot on his chips, a lot on his chips.
Especially with that seer out there, chip is definitely the go-to form of downs or hits that I would anticipate seeing here.
Yeah, it's also with the fact that we know where Seer spawns, but even if Seer spawns by Shack, Seer can still play mind games with you
Mhm.
in that area, or even just to pull distance. You can see right there, Yumi already rotating behind the pallet right there. Oh, but it seems like he wants to play more safe by dropping the pallet instead and looping around the outside of Shack.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, with the breaking pallet there coming off of Mutinate, it puts us here right in front of his eyes. So it gives him the ability to take that first kite. It does look like this
Yeah.
is phenomenal support coming off of the female dancer with the slow boxes, but it does seem like we're going to see the M1 basic hit coming off of the Galatea, our Seer
Yeah.
here.
It's going to be very important here in what Seer's decision is going to be, because it does seem like our sculptor has blink for this one and getting rid of one slow music box right there. There's still two more in the vicinity. If Seer can manage to rotate in between these areas, it probably would be better for him to utilize the slow music boxes more. But it seems like he wants to rotate towards Freeman. That's what he said. But Miro then losing the Seer.
Ooh.
Well,
Whoa.
well.
Okay.
There
Um.
goes, there goes early game. There goes early game.
There's still a chance to bring this around. I mean, it's really up until Mirane and the survivors, especially like rotating and moving to a different target here. You still have the anticipation that either party has the unfortunate fear of fumbling. We are going to be seeing
Oh.
that support coming from the entomologist and
Oh,
a
and another
beautiful
B?
owl.
Wow. This is gonna hurt Miran a lot. Because he does have Blink ready, but he doesn't want to use it just yet until he makes sure that someone's a half health. But getting the Blink out here immediately may be the worst case scenario for Miran right here, because getting the hit right here, Entos Bees will be pushing you away, and it seems like Female Dancer has successfully rotated towards the double slow music boxes that she has deployed.
It does seem like we have graveyard set up already for Mutone. We are just missing those statue hits, unfortunately. They're cutting close, but just not close enough.
And Seer being able to be healed right here from the mercenary side, and Entomologist has done quite enough of support, as we can see here as well. Joki being able to put down the two pallets near graveyard here, vaulting out once again. Does not seem like there is confined space, but did manage to trick Joki into creating a little bit more distance between themselves. But here, as you can see, the statue didn't land there, sadly. Bit unfortunate of a situation right here, as we can see.
These are just unfortunate statues here. It's harder because there's more of a blind area coming from being in this area specifically. Ruins is always one of those areas that's perfect for kiting a Galatea, just because there are so many blind spots.
Yeah.
Um,
Did get did get the dodge. No, didn't get the dodge. Did get a chip down there though, thankfully. But it seems like all of Female Dancer's slow music box will be destroyed. But as we can see here as well, the last three ciphers has already been decoded. But Entomologist, barely. No, didn't. No. The bees has dissipated right now, sadly. But we do see that Juniper is already coming in as well. 18 Mironet being one hit away from Axe Presence, but it does seem like the cipher is more than enough from your activator side. Therefore, this could be really bad for the sculptor right now if he wants to aim for the tie.
yeah, I mean, turning your back here, especially knowing that someone here is in the proximity. We did see that hit off of the female dancer here, but it's just unfortunate seeing that there's no room to really get those statues down on this
Yeah.
merc.
We do also see that Jogi ran towards the furthest area in which you can chair, but it does seem like the last three survivors wants to rush towards the last cipher right now to try to get us primed. Currently at 50% right now. Sculptor does have a lot of opportunities here to chip the Seer down, but also the price in which comes for that is abnormal.
Abnormal.
Oh no, you can't abnormal here though. If you abnormal here, then we're just gonna have a full party. You're gonna start body blocking for the female dancer right now. Oh wait, getting pushed back right there. Wait a second, gets hit on mercenary. Thank God female dancer's able to
Beautiful hit off
rotate.
that mercenary.
We can have. Oh, gets a two elbow. Well, that's one elbow pad utilized, which is very nicely done. But Mercenary being fully down right here, they're just gonna stay between the windows right here as well. But if Mironet decides to change targets here once again, we can just immediately start healing the female dancer and the Mercenary. The three survivors here can now group up and go look for the Seer. All what Seer has to do is to rotate away from the Cypher as fast as possible. Sees where the Seer is right now as well. Seer needs to contain as far away as possible. It does seem like we're deciding to open an extra cipher instead, knowing that the sculptor does not have teleport, but instead abnormal the last cipher. Last cipher is going to be going up pretty darn fast, but also they do need to heal the mercenary for Mercy to come in to heal.
Mhm. Unfortunately, it does seem that we're going to get that mercenary up. We're going to have the Entomologist, the mercenary, and the dancer on these ciphers, but it does look like the entomologist is going through the chest, possibly to help support with this seer here,
Mm-hmm.
just to buy enough time to get that cipher primed. Beautiful M1 coming off of this sculptor,
Yeah.
but she's on a mission. She's going back towards that Shack cipher, probably to inhibit decoding there,
Mm.
but it more so just looks kind of like the entomologist is trailing her to force tinnitus on her.
Yeah, but it seems like Joby will be seen right here, sadly. The last cipher is currently at 70% plus right now. There's still a huge chance here, as we can see, for the survivors to prime the cipher, getting an immediate chip right there and vaulting over right here. Joby's quite a pickle right now, but did he manage to get the chain statue right there, sadly? Last cipher, 94%, but it does seem like the cipher is primed. And Sculptor goes in now. That's going to be an immediate pop, but I have health
Mhm.
entomologist, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, this is really great teamwork coming off of the survivor side here. I mean, enough pressure coming off of these ciphers and the support early game with those slow boxes.
Mm-hmm. But it does seem like Sculptor is very close towards the birdcage gauge, but Entomologist is already opening the back gate right now. So for the survivors here, they still do have a chance to aim for a 3-man escape. No, no, Entomologist has not even touched the gate just yet. Wait a second, if Ento hasn't touched the gate just yet, it's not good to rotate there, is it now, Juniper? Juniper needs to contain for a little bit longer right here. Entomologist being at half health as well, but cannot get melted down like butter, simply with the fact that Sculptor doesn't have enough statues right here.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate part of Sculptor is you have to really careful with your statues, just
Hmm.
because the unfortunate aspect of once you're out, it takes a bit for them to replenish here.
Yeah, it seems like Gala here trying to look for Jogi. Jogi being getting the church up right there and immediate hit down. There is still 45 seconds left on the clock, but it's more than enough for activators to get a 3-man escape here to win round 1.
Hmm. Beautiful teamwork coming off of the survivor side of Yo-Yo here. I'm severely impressed with the female dancers setup in the beginning, especially with the aid that comes with the Seer's first kite. When we're looking at the data, I mean, we had some really strong kites here.
Yeah, we did, especially with the fact that we did see the female dancer immediately coming out with the 3 music box beautiful setup in runes, allowing Seer to contain there for such a long time. And then when Sculptor losing Seer, female dancer herself was able to rotate in towards runes
Mhm.
alongside with a Seer Owl and an entomologist support.
Right. I mean, the support was phenomenal coming off of these four. Um, really giving the momentum of being able to keep up with that kite and the allowing the female dancer to really take that kite severely
Hmm.
helped with the decoding. Even with the Merc debuff, you allowed both the seer and the entomologist to really utilize like not having a like debuff on those ciphers, and unfortunately you just didn't have enough of the anticipation of being everywhere all at once.
Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate here, but let's congratulate activators for
Mhm.
winning round 1. Then if we see here as well on with the endgame match stats, which has just disappeared, we're not going to talk about it anymore, but no, never mind, it's you're on your own who's currently winning right now, my bad, you're on your own who's currently winning right now. No, we're back with match stats. Thank you very much, Mads. Let's see now. From 18 Middlenet, we will have 0 ciphers remaining, 5 pallets destroyed, 18 strikes, and 4 knockdowns. From Fusion Zoki, if I said that right, 108% decoding progress, 134 seconds containment. From Vanilla, it will be 192% decoding progress, 1 heal, 1 rescue, and 55-second containment. We do see where his bees did come in quite a bit to assist the decoding, which is why she didn't contain as much. And then from Juniper T with the Mercenary, 165% decoding progress, 1 heal, 1 rescue, and a 106-second containment. And then Yumi, our Seer, maybe MVP of the day, maybe. But of course, with a 215% decoding progress alongside with a 104-second Hunter containment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed, especially with the decoding coming off of the mercenary here. Really allowing him to focus on that, and the support coming off the entomologist. I mean, 200%, even with the support, phenomenal. 55 seconds, but even then, she wasn't really in that
Yeah.
sculptor's view much.
But like we also do see from this game as well, losing the bands was not great when it comes to a female dancer and a seer and entomologist with Shay under Sculptor.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an unfortunate matchup here. More so because you have a lot of characters that do get that vaulting buff that comes with just both their the traits that they bring and just the kit that they are built with. Even with the entomologist running Tide, the honey placement, vaulting windows, pallets, etc. Really does help with lengthening anyone's kite.
Yeah. But like I guess this kind of just proves the point as well for our tourney settings. You cannot only have one main, because if you do, the opponent's team is just gonna start
Mhm.
banning and counter picking the hell out of you with, like, we do know
Exactly.
Miro and Scala. We all know Miro and Scala. Absolutely insane, really good. But with this type of team comp, it's really hard for you to gain more when playing a Gala.
Yeah, and I mean, it really does seem like You're on Your Own really did their research here with Mutiny's Gala. I mean, we definitely have seen his playstyle with her before, but being able to counterpick and to work around uh, map pressure, especially coming from a sculptor, really phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really nice as well. But like as we can see here, from the survivors side, they barely took any chips. It really was a Seer Owl coming in. We can
Mhm.
see how different a four-man team is compared to a two duos or even just randoms in general when there's a
Right.
Seer on the team. Yeah, so he's always going to be considered a meta character.
Oh, for sure. And it does look like we're onto our map picks. We are going to Side Village ban, and we are going to be see Red Church as our pick here. I'm a huge fan of Red Church. It might just because of the survivors that I typically play, but
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan of smaller maps.
Yeah, smaller maps is. I mean for researching. All honesty, it's still a 50-50 for both hunter and survivor,
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of closed and or open spaces into this map. It really aids both parties in either distance or
Mm-hmm.
really either making or breaking your kite here, especially with the pallet areas. A lot of areas are really hit or miss on this map.
Yeah, it's kind of just. It's honestly depending on what hunter you play and what type of
Mhm.
survivors come out. But it does seem like we'll be having activators popping up as our hunter first, and Yo-Yo Survivor will be coming out.
Yeah, and it looks like our first survivor ban is going to be the antiquarian, and we're going to be here. Definitely don't want to mess with this. The efficient plays
Yeah,
coming from last match, and
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, antiquarian's always going to be a go-to ban, just because strong she is.
Yeah, in honesty, really annoying as well to deal with. But if
Mhm.
you're not banning a priestess, you're just gonna get looped in hospital anyways.
Right. Um,
Because we do
uh,
know as well, Priestess putting down the one pallet in the middle and one portal is going to assist you towards that window immediately for that window speed boost.
for
And even
sure.
if we do say, yeah, but even if we do say, Priestess portal against a Pollun doesn't really work. No, it does. It really does in middle.
Really.
Pollun will be forced to break out of
Yes, it
uniform if
really
you move one.
does. Um,
Yeah.
especially because with a pull-in, distance is definitely a huge reliability, and Priestess always seems to get that. Especially doesn't even really matter what map, as long as you can get that distance and be
Hmm.
able to loop. It looks like we are going to be seeing a Priest as our first survivor pick here, especially on Red Church. Not really sure how the playstyle for that really goes because I personally don't really see her that often, but she's always banned in my matches. I don't see her much anymore, anyways. And we are going to
Yeah.
be seeing that sculptor ban coming from your own survivor side.
And then alongside with our next two survivor picks, it seems like we're gonna come out with a priestess and a female dancer out immediately.
Hmm.
Oh, priestess and female dancer out. Then I guess it's gonna be a full support in mid, in church, if that's the
Hmm.
case.
Yes, I
Hmm.
do believe so.
With the next ban, it seems like we'll be coming out with an acrobat and an entomologist. You rarely see an entomologist ban against bonbons in general, but an acrobat ban does make sense if you're gonna play bonbon. Entomologist, on the contrary, is kind of like saying, well, I'm gonna throw my bans away just with the fact that I didn't like her last game, which is not a good choice. Because with Mirone's Hunter pool, we have seen the Hellenberg, we have seen a Wheel, we have seen the Gala. There may be a wax artist to come out, so banning Entomologist and Anti-Current, in which both of them does get a mini speed boost from their items, would make
Hmm.
sense. But we don't see wax artists coming out for Red Church. It's highly unlikely for that to
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, there's just way too many walls, and that wax just can't get past them. So I'm not really anticipating seeing a wax artist play on a map like Red Church. We are gonna
Hmm.
see for our third survivor, we're gonna see that prospector, really efficient, when it comes to stunning, rescuing, or just building time. I've noticed and seen from prospectors throughout this tournament that they don't really give up. Like, they're very much all over.
Yeah, Prospector, thank God he's getting nerfed next season. I can't wait.
And it does
Can't
look
wait.
like our final survivor band is going to be that barmaid. I had this conversation when I play with Bones or commentate with Bones, but I mean, barmaid is such a strong character,
Yeah.
especially if utilized correctly, and it's just unfortunate with how often she is utilized. I feel like a lot of people don't understand her full potential, especially when it comes to some survivor players. You don't really see her until you get to those higher tiers, but I mean, she really does it all.
Don't worry. Ez is just low key shitting on the random she's getting as barmaid who doesn't kite. I do that as well. Don't worry. But
I'm the
yes,
barmaid player, sorry.
Lamau, Lamau. But yes, we have seen from the Musing's game with the geisha, we did see how barmaids did manage to get that
Mhm.
doubling up and Maxi with the flywheel with the speed doubling. It's still doable, but of course you need to know how to play her and know how to know her
Exactly.
fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really one of those things that barmaid, even if you get that one hit down, if you can't get her in time to stop her from mixing a drink, she is definitely one of those characters that is super reliant on free kiting. Um, Especially because you can't get rid of those drinks until they're all gone. I mean, it does
Yeah.
look like our final survivor choice here is going to be that mercenary. Really
Look.
interesting here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, mercenary here is just a guarantee rescue, so it's a
Mhm.
it's a bit. I don't know, cause like with this team comp, you're gonna have a priestess with a alarm portal from the other side of the map and a mercy coming into rescue, simply allowing a whoever's on chair to take the alarm portal, and then priestess being on the other side to immediately heal. Even with Gala Sculptor's chip, it wouldn't really counter it that much, considering the fact that a lot of these survivors here will be bringing flywheel.
Yeah, I mean, it does see we're slowly getting the builds in, but we're seeing both the priestess and the mercenary running tide. And we're gonna be seeing the prospector with flywheel and the dancer with broken windows. Broken windows on dancer. I feel like on a map like Red Church is very efficient. There's unfortunately no high ground for her to fall off of to get that natural speed boost. So being able to
Mm,
accumulate that just with the trait is pretty reasonable here. Um, I'm a sucker. I always bring Tide on Priestess, so I really don't complain when I see it. But with a map with a team composition like this, I really do feel like it would be efficient just because it does give the mercenary some time. If there is enough pressure on the mercenary to have the second rescue come in.
yeah, in honesty, Priestess Tide is something that we do see quite a lot in our ranked matches as well.
Mhm.
But with our four-man teams like this, chances of mercenary fading rescue is really low. But Clark coming out from Milones side right now, ooh, that's gonna hurt though. It's one item, one scroll against this Clerk right now. Survivors have 3 items
Mhm.
each.
I mean, Clerk is one of those characters. She's got speed and she really can do a lot. It's just with the anticipation that Mirone can keep up with these survivors here.
Yeah. But then again, with a clerk like this, you do need to consider like, if you can't rotate middle, you rotate middle. If you can't rotate middle, you can't rotate middle. At least you can still contain for quite a long majority of time. With clerk, at least good news with clerk is she can get rid of long portals when it's near you with her own, basic hit record.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, just getting that first page off, as long as it's really something that would efficiently benefit Mirone's clerk. I mean, and pre-game, early game, it's really up in everyone's favor here.
Yeah. But you know what would be more fun to see?
Mm-hmm.
An excitement clerk coming from Mirone here.
Oh, I actually really agree. Excitement's not something you don't see utilized exactly to its fullest potential, and I mean, I would love to see it too.
Yeah, but sadly, with excitement in general, the moment you excitement out is the moment survivors say, yeah, 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 team fight lads, we need the hell out of this hunter, let's go!
Yeah. I can't say I'm not guilty of being in that group too, but even then, like if the match is draining, sometimes you just forget that a hunter is carrying it.
Yeah, and of course, excitement is like 70 seconds less than a blink and like 20 seconds less than a
Mhm.
teleport. But in all honesty, if you're able to rebound kite for 80 seconds, that's something else. That your ciphers is probably
Exactly.
already done. Yeah. Onto the area selection we go. It seems like we'll have Juniper T, Priestess spawning middle, Vanilla spawning in Red Carpet Garden, Jogi spawning by Shack, not a bad spawn, and then Yumi spawning on the left hand side of Church.
Yeah, I mean, having that priestess spawn middle there really sets up for great support just because priestess portals can get to different areas of within the church with an impressive rate. So I can't wait to see the support that comes with it. And it does look like we're gonna be seeing Mutiny in the back breakables right between the shack and front grave.
Yeah, but for our survivors here, if they do know themselves as well in which how far they spawn away from the hunter, I would say it's a little bit, it's not beneficial for priestess to put out the support portals a bit early, cause if priest as long as priestess puts down the pallets early, did the survivors bring pallet speed boost? I forgot. Lol.
Only the dancer, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then that's fine. Then that's fine. If it's only the dancer, dancer can just take the pallet speed boost and then rotate around in middle, and then
Yeah, and
maybe we'll
then
see. Oh.
mhm. It does seem like Juniper, this priestess here, is setting up portals already for that support. And it
Oh,
looks like she is going to be the first chase here.
Yeah, Juniper here just has to be very careful in her portal usage as well, because if she uses too much, she wouldn't have enough to counter the scrolls right here. As we can see, another beautiful portal going around, but cannot put this pallet down, sadly. It does seem like Mirona has a chance to land a hit here on Juniper. Quite an early hit, to be fair with you.
Yes. I mean, there was a wonderful charge hit, I believe. I don't see Clerk enough to remember what it looks like, but it does look like we're get that early hit and that support coming from the dancer again. Um, with the
So
slow
annoying.
boxes, yeah.
Yeah. That's another window record made from Cleric, but it does seem like Cleric has brought excitement for this one. And Priestess with her third portal ready right now, teleporting away immediately. Excitement too early right there. Ah,
Oh,
Priestess did bring Tide if I'm not wrong, so we won't be seeing a flywheel coming out anytime soon.
beautiful hit coming up and Mirane getting that priestess down. It's just unfortunate that we had seen the excitement just go off a little bit too early here. It looks like we
Yeah.
are getting the priestess chaired right in front of the female dancer, but that slow box, is really inhibiting.
Hmm. But it doesn't seem like the prospector wants to come in just yet with the harass. It seems like we want to get a normal damage first coming from the hunter, but Yumi is pretty darn close. Elbow potting immediately right here, getting no damage rescue is going to be very beneficial for the survivors. Oh, what's those? Those are record scrolls
Whoa.
being placed down? Oh, and there's another slow music box. Oh no.
Oh. It's just
Alright.
unfortunate. This female dancer support it's pretty insane.
Yeah, look where Juniper is right now. Juniper's already near the window in church. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean that that female dancer nerf cannot come faster. Um,
Yeah, Prospector. Oh, here we go again. Triple Magnus stun, but it doesn't seem like Miro wants to step on it right now. Another one just landed on him. Never mind. We're gonna get a pushback, and then Miro probably will be forced to take this Magnus. Oh, another pushback. And that's a land stun.
yeah, that's a pretty good stun coming off of the prospector here. It seems we are recording more so on vaulting through the window here with that clerk. Probably to use blocking, but there's just not a, there's only just the two windows in church and the one in the front gate here, in the
Yeah.
back gate. So it doesn't really feel like an efficient recording unless you're really focusing on trying to get that kite off into the church area. It does look like the priestess is fully healed, so it's really just up to who we're chasing next.
Yeah, for now, for Clerk, it does seem like. For now, for Clerk, it does seem like she is on the losing side, but getting one window record there, as we can see, didn't get a second one out just yet. If Prospector can push away, or will Minone coming out with the excitement early on.
Beautiful hit.
Flywheel. Ooh, Flywheel didn't get. Flywheel got baited out, surprisingly. But needs to waste time again to get rid of the slow music boxes. It seems like we're going to record onto Joki once again to slow down the decoding progress as much as possible, but I don't think much can be done here. Changing targets once again. Yeah, Prospector is just going to meet up with Priestess to heal very soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little unfortunate just because the survivors are just about everywhere. They really have the anticipation of just really trying to know where this cleric is heading next. We do have that world portal going out, probably to help support and heal the prospector. Yep, they are healing in that back corner there. It's just unfortunate because now we're back to the step one.
Yeah, Kirk bringing out excitement right here. Sadly, used it a bit too early, and then allowing the survivors to all come in with the support. Priestess being able to pull such a huge distance, and also opening an extra cipher for endgame. That's great. And Prospector once again with another magnets. Oh, this is enough though. Even if you keep recording, there's gonna be another cipher out there that's gonna be decoded. There's currently 3 ciphers being opened, and here, as we can see as well from Cleric's side. Well, it seems like Miron doesn't play Clerk that much, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, knowing and seeing all the Mirone's mains, it does feel like Clark is one of those characters that he picked up just to have another character on hand. Um,
Mm. You know, to be fair with you, I know I just feel like Helmer probably would have been a better pick here compared to a Clerk.
especially with the team composition like this. Um, I do know we have
Nope, didn't get
characters
the
like
hit
the
there sadly.
Prospector
Ah,
here,
GG Pallet Stun.
Palette Stun. Um, yeah, we
Blink
still
out?
have
Oh,
Blink.
that's game over. That's game
Oh,
over. Yeah,
um,
the moment the blink came out and was forced out, there's no teleport, there's no blink, Clerk is not at max presence. Well, there goes everything. But it does seem like Clerk is changing targets towards Yogi right now.
yeah, putting that
Oh.
pressure on the back gate here. Especially going after this female dancer, she now has no music boxes, so she does have to depend on raw kiting ability.
Hmm. But she got the palette record there, thankfully. But female dancer still does have an elbow pad though. But at least good news is the dungeon isn't nearby. It's actually near the fourth cipher,
Mhm.
near Garden, near Recarpish.
Yes. So it's just the anticipation of being able to get that gate open and being able to get this female dancer. Um, I mean, this match is really stressful. Just to even watch. You really
Oh,
always hope for the best here. And we got the elbow pad off here as well.
but does it seem like Joby will be mind gamed right there with the window, getting the hit out there immediately? But it seems like the gate will be open from the survivor
Mhm.
side. You was able to get another 3-man escape here for game 2. So all what's left there really is for Musine to get a tie.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the stress and the anticipation coming off of the survivor side, I mean, I'm still always impressed by Clark gameplay. She's always one of those characters that always takes me by surprise, and I feel like
Mhm.
just like the Dream Witch, she takes a lot of mental strength to really pull off. So honestly, really big props to Mutone for playing a character like the Clerk. Characters like
Yeah.
that, it's just stressful, especially when in a tournament setting. I mean,
Mhm.
stress is always so high, so I'm honestly really happy and proud of everyone who did come out to play for something like this.
Yeah. But everything aside from that, we did see how. No, wait, it's 3-1. It's 3-1. It's 3-1 for Yo-Yo.
Hmm.
It's 3-1 for Yo, guys. But yeah, a little bit unlucky right there for Miron as well. With that type of team comp and this Clerk coming out, it is pretty darn hard for you to aim for more, especially when it's against a 4-man team there as well. Maybe a Polum could work, maybe a Hellember could work, but for Miron's side, he did believe in his Clerk a little bit more. But sadly, Survivors did have more of an upper hand with what they wanted to,
Hmm.
what they how they wanted to play it out, and with what they wanted to play it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to whether or not Mission here could get these survivors out here. Um,
Hmm.
really anticipating seeing that.
Yeah. For Musing in general, if he just gets a one-man elimination, I think it still will be fine. It'll still be
Mhm.
a huge point advantage here for Yo-Yo. But, you know, it is what it is by this point. If Activator Survivors can manage to draft well enough to, maybe counter Musing's Clerk as well, as we've seen from last game, maybe get the same Survivors out,
Right.
then there definitely is a chance for that to happen. But knowing Musing, he's gonna have a lot of cards up on his hands right now with his Hunter pool.
Yeah, I mean, Mucin is one of those one of those hunters that I'm every time you see him, he's super strong. He definitely just knows what he's doing. And
Yeah.
even then, we also have our subs, whether execute and go through with subbing in and subbing out. I mean, even if we don't see Mucin, we have the opportunity of Alpha into the mix here.
Yeah. And knowing Fafa, you cannot allow his spider to come out. You just can't.
Mm-mm.
But also, you're gonna be against his Ripper if that's the case. And who counters Ripper, I wonder?
um,
No one. I mean, maybe Seer. Maybe
no.
Seer. Maybe
Perfumer
Seer. Maybe
had the
some
ability
harass.
in the past.
Uh,
um,
But like we don't see rippers, we don't see ripper wings a lot
No.
from NAU, so none of us really has that much of a experience kiting against rippers. Like high, like by theory, yes, we know how to kite them, but when it comes to a max presence ripper or early game in general, when you throw your guard down and allowing ripper to land that one fire blade, oh, you're screwed.
I
You're
was gonna
screwed.
say, I don't remember the last time I've seen a Ripper in a
Yeah,
match
you
in
rarely see one.
forever.
You honestly
Um,
rarely see one in our server at all.
yeah, I mean, even standing in mid tier, you don't see anything like that. It does seem like for bans, our first Hunter ban, we're gonna see that Clerk ban. Yeah, I mean, a
Oh,
Hunter and the Clerk.
we're allowing a geisha to come out again.
Maybe it does seem like our survivor bands we're gonna see the female dancer and the seer and an acrobat. It really does just feel like we don't want to put up with that female dancer here. Those
Yeah.
slow boxes are always severely detrimental.
At least the good news here for Musing is he doesn't have to ban any rescuers anymore, because the activators has
Mhm.
already gotten their rescuer out. So all what's there left to ban really is whatever support Geisha is the most annoyed about.
Right,
That's
and
so
it does
bad English.
seem we're seeing that priestess band come out too. Um, I mean, the support was insane coming off of that Priestess last match, and we are going to be seeing the first officer and the antiquarian as our first lock-ins here. Very formidable characters. I mean, I've never really have a bad thing to say about the antiquarian or the first officer.
Yeah, until you get a terror shock, and I'm that random. But it seems like we're gonna get a perfumer from
Oh,
activators.
thank goodness! I am the biggest perfumer fan, so honestly, seeing her finally, this is like a dream come true for me. I miss her so
She's
much back when she was in like meta plays.
Yeah, you honestly rarely see her now, but allowing a perfumer to come out against a bonbon that hasn't been banned is not that much of a great idea. You never know what can
No.
happen, yeah.
It does seem like our final survivor band here is gonna be that barmaid, so
Seems like Musin got
really,
scared of the barmaid.
yeah, I cannot blame him.
Yeah, you can't. But in all honesty, with this team comp, as long as Musin can get the geisha, if Musin decides to hardcore geisha out, survivors will have more of a chance to get their 4-man endgame. But if Musin decides to get a bonbon out, I mean, to be fair, the only character that counts as perfumer is bonbon. Because with sculptor in
Mhm.
general, after the perfumer's buff, with the fact that her perfume has been reduced from 10 seconds to 9 seconds, it simply allows perfumers to use her perfumes more often to at least guarantee a 40-second kite
Yeah,
while
and
maintaining max health.
and
hmm
also the introduction of flywheel with perfumer is definitely something to be wary of. It definitely benefits the time that comes in with either getting your perfumes off a cooldown or getting the distance just enough so like you have the anticipation of being able to prepare for the hit that's to come. Really
Yeah.
interesting to see a team composition like this. But I feel like if I talk too much, my bias is gonna come out towards the
Don't worry, let it come
perfumer
out.
in
Don't worry, let it come
general.
out. Let's go. Don't worry, let's
I
go. Let it come out.
I've been a perfumer main for the past, I believe, 6 seasons, so I've never stopped.
That's the way we want. That's the way we will do it. That's how we're gonna do it. But with an entomologist with the last pick, to be fair, this is just screaming out Bonbon. It seems like Activators wants to bet on the fact that Musing wants a redemption game, which is Geisha. But if Musing really does come out with a Geisha, it'll be very fun to see. But no, come here with a sculptor. Oh, ooh, that's even worse.
Interesting.
I feel like it's even worse. Like, can we see a perfumer kite, please? I want to see a perfumer kite
I
first.
was just gonna say, we did get the traits in for the Survivor Series, and my anticipation was correct. We are gonna be seeing that perfumer with the flywheel effect, and we're gonna see both the first officer and the antiquarian with tide, and the entomologist also is gonna have flywheel here.
Oh.
Really anticipating the boost that will come from vaulting windows coming from the entomologist here, but
Hmm.
even as someone who runs 6 perfumer, 12 is something that you see more often than not nowadays, just because even though perfumer is one of those characters that is high feeding, uh, I mean, that flywheel can really make or break a game.
Yeah. But currently, we do also know that Yo-Yo is currently on the lead, and Activators does have
Mhm.
to aim for more right here. We do want to see the Perfumer first chase. We really do want to see that coming out.
I yeah.
We do,
I
yeah.
mean, it would be very, very interesting, and just because I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, but it's also with the fact that we also need to showcase the fact that
Mhm.
perfumers can escalate, yeah, and her
Right.
only weakness is a bonbon.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much that can really counter a perfumer. I feel like the only reason why you don't really see her as much is definitely just the character that feeds presence. Um,
Yeah.
but perfumer, no matter how you utilize her, is really strong.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's also with the fact that in our current day meta, a lot of the survivors are like a multi-kit survivor. So you can kite, you
Mhm.
can contain, you can kite, you can decode fast, and you can support. But kiting and supporting is the two more important parts in our current day
Exactly.
meta. Yeah, but with just Perfumer being able to excel at kiting by herself, that throws people off a little bit just because we love harassing, we love beating up hunters. I know, listen, I know, I've been a part of that as well. So yeah.
I mean, there's definitely room for perfumer to do that. It just really does depend on everyone's playstyle and how we utilize her. It does look like
Mm-hmm.
our first chase here will be the Antiquarian as we're running into the red carpet space.
Yeah, it seems like we're gonna play a little bit headstrong right here from Sculptor's side as well, looking down to stack Hunter's Instinct just so she can get enough statues to start aiming it and start chiseling, not chiseling, chipping the anti-current. But for anti-current here, as long as she can land her disarm, that's really all what matters.
Right. Good utilization of the pellets here just to waste enough time. Unfortunately, pellets in a
Oh,
space like this. Oh, beautiful
well, well,
disarm
well.
coming off of the Antiquarian
Well, well,
here.
well. Another one! Well, there we go.
Oh.
See, Sculptor's just using her statues now, and there's nothing that the Sculptor can do. Even dodging that chip right there, right after putting down the pallet, and another disarm. Sheesh,
Oh,
and as we can see
just
here,
missing that pallet stun though.
yeah, a little bit unlucky there as well. But it does seem like Andy Curran has, oh no, does not have the next disarm ready. It is a little bit unfortunate, but Andy Curran has contained enough until Blink is already up now, as we can see here.
Mhm. Looks like we did get that statue hit from that blind spot there. I mean, really good belief and beautiful blink coming up the mission here, getting the Antiquarian down. We are still
Yeah.
at about 5 ciphers. We're about 70% on just about all of them, except I believe that first officer is just about to finish his.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like it's a guaranteed 3 cipher kite right here. Very nicely done by the sculptor as well. But for the survivors here to honestly aim for more, we do need to see the entomologist coming out with the beast, just so the Antiquarian can rotate towards a safer area in which she can use her disarm ability. Because disarm does not work when there's survivors nearby.
Mhm.
First officer coming
Really.
in here. Oh, gets the hit on first
Ooh,
officer right there.
beautiful hit on that first officer. I mean,
Oh,
I feel
beast.
like that great support coming from the entomologist. I feel like we have the aspect of motion that we just see so that being able to predict where that first officer is using Poseidon's pocket watch. Oh, beautiful, beautiful disarm coming from the Antiquarian here, but unfortunately she is going down.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate of a situation right there, and it doesn't seem like First Officer can rescue anymore. For the survivors here, they seems like they want to aim to heal more than they do want to rush right now, which is understandable, since they do need to aim for a
Mhm.
tie, and I mean a tie is more enough for. Wait, is it? No, it's not. No, for them they need a 3-man escape, not a tie. My bad.
Yeah.
Perfumer getting another chip right there though is a little bit of the dangerous spot right now, and of course Mickey coming in to rescue once again as the first officer. Chair time is a little bit tight right here, as we do see as well, gets the first chip there immediately, and there goes Antiquarian.
Beautiful, beautiful pressure coming off of Mushin here, and it does the first officer isn't really going to be the chase here. I think we're gonna go after the perfumer just because she has that chip on her. I mean, as long as she avoids other statues, basic hits. I
Mm.
mean, this perfumer does have the potential to pull off an excellent kite and get those last remaining ciphers out.
Yeah, for well here, what he needs to focus on more is to dodging the statues rather than worry about taking the hits, because he can take any time. And a very beautiful
Mhm.
perfume just to create a little bit distance from the sculptor right here. Oh,
Beautiful
flywheel.
flywheel.
But sadly, he doesn't dodge that statue, which is a little bit more unfortunate. And getting the blink down right here,
Beautiful
perfume has done.
blink.
Yeah, she's done a good enough kite. The cipher is primed. The cipher is primed. We're only missing the cipher from Perfumer Shack, not Shack, the Jackate cipher,
Mhm.
and the first officers, which should be about to be primed by this point, honestly.
Yeah, and it does seem like, unfortunately, uh, just with how this game is going, we're gonna really see that pressure on the
Oh, it gets a chip right there. Don't
hair.
wait a second.
Beautiful.
Another stopwatch has to come out right here, as we can see as well. But no, did get that?
Beautiful.
Wait. Wait, no, 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 wait, what was that? The tide doesn't activate? Or is it just me?
Um, it's because the pocket watch. I believe the pocket watch did run out. Um,
It's a bit unfortunate right here, but for the survivors, leaving the 3-man endgame, not a 3-man on chair right now. For entomologists right here, the last cipher is currently at 95%. Having to rescue 2 right here will be really hard. And it does seem like the perfumer will be gone first. Ento getting one, didn't get a single chip right there, gets a normal hit right there thankfully, but it seems like perfumer will be returned to the mainer sadly.
yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. We are gonna be seeing Mission go for that cipher there, and I believe yeah, it's just barely at 93%. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we just have to rely on pure pressure on this primed cipher.
Gets a
Beautiful
chip hit
down
right there.
on that entomologist and basic hit on that first officer. We are gonna be seeing Mushin a 4-man.
4-man right there, a little bit unfortunate with with the pocket watch running out of time right there, not allowing the first officer to get the tie to get the guarantee rescue on the entomologist and for him to finish the cipher himself
Mhm.
by the gate. That's a little bit unfortunate, but let's congratulate Musin for the 4-man elimination though.
Yeah. That was honestly a very impressive match, and when you look at the progress at the end, I mean the antiquarian kite in the beginning, it really felt like she was set for her team. But I mean Mushin's pressure just with those statues and everything and great prediction, really
Hmm.
pulled through.
Yeah. It's really just like their early game containment was really good. Their mid game was absolutely good as well from the perfumer side, as we have seen with
Hmm.
Wells containment. But honestly, it's just with that rescue in which the Poseidon Watch's 5-second tie time didn't come out, which led to the first officer failing the rescue right there.
Yeah. Um, I mean, honestly, it was just unfortunate. Um,
Really
just
unfortunate,
because that
yeah.
pocket watch really could have made or break right here, just because they were all so close to that last cipher here, which was sitting at a good 93%. It was just really unfortunate that the perfumer couldn't get that cipher pop off either in the beginning to have that final cipher be the first officers. I mean,
Yeah.
intense pressure coming off of Mushin's Galatea here.
Mm-hmm. And then on to the match stats we go. Mushi, Sculptor, 1 cipher remaining, 2 pallets destroyed, 19 strikes and 6 knockdowns. Most knockdowns were done by statues, so that's very
Mhm.
impressive there coming from Musing's side as well. And then with the decoding progress, we have 191 from Perfumer with a 21-second containment. I think it's really just with the blink down in general, which caught the perfumer off guard, but from first officer as well, 103% decoding, 84-second containment, and of course entomologist with a 200% decoding progress and a 37% containment from the hunter, and the courier has done a solid 80 seconds, a very good and solid 80 seconds there as we have seen from
Mhm.
this arms and from the pallet drops and dodges in general.
Yeah, I mean, this match, just like all the others, was also really intense, pretty stressful. Coming from both parties here. I mean, the antiquarian first kite really felt like this match was set just because of how it was going, but I mean honestly,
It
the
is what it is.
turnaround
Yeah.
coming off of Mushin it was insane.
Mm-hmm. It seems like for us right now, it will be a win for Yo-Yo as they have won round one and for round two, and we will be seeing activators for our next season, most likely of Checkmate.
Mhm.
Season 3 coming soon, guys.
Yeah, I mean that was really intense, and I had a lot of fun watching all these matches. Everyone always plays so well.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just a little bit unfortunate here. We do see that Yo-Yo did have the stronger side team alongside with Musin being their hunter from Fusion. And of course with the
Mhm.
survivors, I think two of the survivors has been played in quite a lot of tournaments in general. But I
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it just feels like when you look at Mushin and everyone, and a lot of the teammates they've had who have played in tournaments and everything, you know, you get lot less nerves than coming in. So
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Let's hope the best for
mhm,
activators for our next
yes,
season, and for Yo-Yo, let's congratulate them into moving on
mhm.
to quarterfinals, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, next weekend I believe is quarterfinals. We're gonna be seeing Halcyon activators, uh, Discord kittens, and
Hmm.
so many more. I'm really excited. I, on the top of my head from this weekend, I apologize. I am a sad that we won't be seeing Halcyon play today, but you know what? It leaves so much more anticipation to see them next weekend.
Yeah. But of course, this will be the end for our day 4 of Checkmate Tourney. We will see you
Mhm.
all next week for now.
Bye.
Bye bye.